Welcome back, guys. So, on this live stream, we're going to be looking at again the Democrats can't help themselves but to lie. And when I say Democrats, that includes the lying mainstream media. The lying mainstream media don't have any other story to tell. Well, they parroted the Democrats' talking points for the week, saying that Trump was going to sell out the United States. That didn't happen. So now they made up a new lie. We're going to cover it. Eric Trump is suing Jen Psaki. We'll look into that story. We have the DOJ going after the parents of children who commit violent crimes. Since the parents won't take care of the kids, they have to bear responsibility for the actions of their kids. Now, you guys let me know in the chat if you agree. And then the FBI foiled a terror plot today. We're going to look at that story as well. We have a story coming from Europe. A journalist essentially met with Antifa, and Antifa, like they've been trying to tell us that Antifa is not violent. So we're going to get a revelation about the true nature of Antifa. So you guys stick around. So let's start with the first story. All right. Oh, I usually ask you to please remember that you can post your comments in the chat because you are part of the story. Send us your comments. We're going to read your comments, and I'll do my best to catch up on all the comments, and super chats will be put up on the screen. If you want to support the channel, we say thank you by putting up your chat on the screen and giving you a shout out. And doing that helps us keep the lights on. So let's dive into the story. Gardening is in the chat. Thank you, Gardening. Thanks for jumping into the chat. Okay, so let's go. Now, the White House has debunked claims that President Trump in this video is drinking alcohol to toast President Xi in Beijing. It is a well-known fact. Trump has refused to ever drink alcohol because of his brother Fred passing away due to alcoholism. Okay, now one of his attaches says the insinuation here is false by suggesting that he would somehow compromise himself for a toast. President Trump doesn't drink alcohol. Now we're going to watch this video and then I'll give you my thoughts on this interesting story. Like, the story is Trump drank from a glass. Oh, what's in the glass? It's not clear, so it must be alcohol. Like, how bankrupt of a story do you have to be in, or do you have to be to make up things? But we're used to the leftist media by now. They simply make stuff up because without Trump, they don't have a story. They spent the last 15 years making up things about Trump. They sold airtime, they sold ads, essentially for attacking Trump. Now, the question came in the comment section a while back that what will the networks do when Trump is no longer in office? Okay, now let me know in the chat if you have any idea what he will do. Now, it's been debunked that that didn't happen. But on top of that, the media decided that they were going to tell more lies because when Trump arrived in Beijing, breaking, Eric Trump is going to sue Jen Psaki after she publicly defamed him. Okay, now the writer here, MAGA Voice, says, I love this. I like it. Okay, I may not love it, but I like it because these guys have been lying for so long. Okay, now Eric Trump says, I have zero involvement in any merger discussion involving any public entity I do not run or control. Sue her into oblivion, the poster says. All right, now someone is having, I don't know if it's he's drunk or something, but please take your meds. See you. No. This is a Christian group, okay, and we've all decided to follow Jesus. Okay, so I think we're going to heaven. Now, but I don't know about anyone who knowingly tells lies against someone they just don't agree with. So let's watch this video by Jen Psaki.
Guess where Trump's adult son Eric is right now? Guess where Trump's adult son Eric is right now? Well, he's with his father in China. Now, Eric Trump does not have a role in the U.S. government. In fact, he's supposed to be sort of firewalled off from any U.S. government activities because he took over the family businesses when his father re-entered the White House, supposedly to prevent conflicts of interest. But there he is. You can see him. Now, I should say that when asked about Eric Trump joining the trip, the White House simply said that there were no conflicts of interest there. I guess thanks for that. A spokesperson for Eric himself said that Eric was just joining the president in his own personal capacity, saying that Eric will not participate in any discussions or meetings related to any business entity, and that Eric Trump does not have business ventures in China or plans on doing business with China. Now, that is quite an interesting denial, given this piece in the Financial Times out just today. And here's the headline. Eric Trump joins Beijing trip as family-linked group chases China deal. You see, Eric is on the board of a company called Alt 5 Sigma, and you can see him and Don Jr. here ringing the opening bell at the NASDAQ with the name of that company and the name of the Trump family crypto company right behind them. Well, today, while Eric is in China with his dad, the Financial Times is reporting that this company has a memorandum of understanding to explore a potential deal with a Chinese computer chip manufacturer to build AI data centers and a whole bunch of other AI-related stuff. Oh, and guess what else? That Chinese firm they have that memorandum of understanding with, well, Congress has warned that that company is connected to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, neither the Chinese chip manufacturer or Alt 5 responded to the Financial Times request for comment, but it certainly seems like Eric might be getting a little more than just quality time with his dad out of his China trip, doesn't it? I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of the sketchy ways that Trump's sons are making money while their dad is president. Just like.
So I'm going to play this whole video, and I want you guys to listen to it. I want you guys to respond to it in the chat. I've shown you how to do AI fact checking. You can also jump on your browsers if you can. Don't leave the stream. Jump on your browsers if you can and fact check a bunch of this. Now, the interesting thing that you need to remember about Jen Psaki and TDSBC is when there was overwhelming evidence that Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden, were engaging in corrupt practices with Burisma from, in Ukraine, they said there was nothing there. There's overwhelming evidence that that was happening. These clowns said there was nothing there. So excuse me if I'm skeptical about whatever it is Jen Psaki says. Now, she's bringing up some interesting details, and I'm like, okay, fine. Let's see if that is true. Okay, let's see if that is true. I jumped on AI and asked the question, did Eric Trump say he is going to sue her? And the feedback was yes, he said so. All right, so I'm going to share the links to the AI prompts that we're going to be using in the following story, because I have a following story, because that requires more of our attention than this one. But it's interesting, okay, how the mainstream media decides that they're going to make up stories, and they decide, okay, Trump is going to essentially strike up secret deals in China. It's no secret that Trump and his family run businesses. And the problem with the mainstream media is that finally there's someone who legitimately runs a business. He's run his businesses for over 50 years, 500 of them, by the way. And their problem is that he's not like the other politicians who don't have any visible way that they make money, like Nancy Pelosi. Okay, I haven't seen her complaining about Nancy Pelosi's stock trading. They don't do that, but they attack someone who has a legitimate line of businesses and happen to have children who aren't like Hunter Biden. Okay, Hunter Biden, a drug addict, maybe recovered, but he's an addict. He has a history of degeneracy. He was on the board of Burisma with zero competence in running it. He was just a paper a paperweight in the company just to collect Joe Biden's checks. It was confirmed with multiple testimonies, and that famous video by Joe Biden where he says that he threatened the Ukrainian government to get rid of a prosecutor who was going to essentially affect his arrangement with Burisma. TDSBC did not cover that story. So just keep that in mind. But you know what? Also keep this in mind, because we're going to watch in a few months to see if what they claim panned out. I don't want to be the guy who says these guys aren't making any sense. I'm going to say, okay, let's watch. Okay, let's watch. But they've proven to be very unreliable sources. Okay, the TDSBC and the CNNs of this world, because every accusation that they seem to sling against Trump and his family most of the time doesn't pan out. So let's finish this video and jump over to the next story.
Last month, Eric was on Fox Business bragging out loud about how one of his companies scored a $24 million contract with the Pentagon. Last year, a company partially owned by Trump's other adult son, Don Jr., landed a nearly $5 million contract with the U.S. Air Force. And both of Trump's sons are now part owners in a new drone company that is hoping to win major Pentagon contracts. Now, I should say that all of those companies deny there's any conflict of interest, as do Don and Eric. But wouldn't it be great if someone, say the IRS, were to check, given how clear the potential conflicts of interest are? You would think that Trump and his sons would deserve more financial scrutiny, not less. But nope.
Well, Psaki is staring down the barrel of a lawsuit. So we're going to be looking at this very carefully and making sure that we catch it when it lands. All right, now we're going to be skipping over to the next story. So the next story is really interesting. Okay, I mentioned it earlier. Jeanine Pirro is on a warpath. Okay, now we're going to be transitioning everyone on the main channel over to the to the live stream channel right after this story. So brace yourself. Now, just in starting today, U.S. Attorney General, or sorry, I'm sorry, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro is prosecuting the parents of youths who violate curfew and carry out crime and takeovers in D.C. Prison time is on the table, long overdue. The parents must be held liable for this thuggery. Pirro said the penalty is up to 6 months imprisonment. So let's watch this video and listen to what she has to say, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the matter.
As we grapple with this problem, there is one area that hasn't been discussed. Parental involvement has been a noted gap in any discussion. And I am here to say, as the United States Attorney in the District of Columbia, that ends today. Starting today, my office will aggressively prosecute parents under D.C.'s curfew law. And the specific statute that we will use is a violation of D.C. Code 22-811, and it involves contributing to the delinquency of a minor. This statute makes it unlawful for an adult to enable, facilitate, or permit a minor to engage in delinquent acts.
All right, so I've maxed out the audio, and it's still very low, but I think we can strain and try to pick up what she's saying. Let's keep going.
Is up to 6 months imprisonment. So if the evidence shows the parent knew, or should have known, or permitted, or failed to prevent participation, we're going to charge them. And if you drop your kid off and you fail to supervise them, or you let them skip school to join the chaos, you are going to face fines, court-ordered classes, and possible jail time. Penalties can be imposed even if the juvenile minor is not prosecuted. So a parent commits this offense if they...
Sorry, is it better now?
permit or by insufficient control allow a minor under the age of 18 to violate a curfew. Now, we're going to be asking the Metropolitan Police Department to issue parental citations whenever a minor's curfew violation is tied to a takeover. We will seek to pair these citations with mandatory parental notification and court-mandated parental classes or family counseling as a condition of the resolution of the case.
All right, so now I boosted the volume a little towards the end, so let me know if it was better. Okay, it's still low, but can hear. So what she's saying makes perfect sense, okay? Because for too long, parents get to pawn off their irresponsibility over on the rest of us. Okay, my family and I went to a graduation party this evening, and my youngest was acting out. He was standing on chairs and crawling under tables. And as his father, I had to call him to order. Like, I had to give him the eye, and then I had to call him out and say, look, behave yourself. He's 3. Okay, he's acting like a 3-year-old. But raising kids starts at a very young age. A lot of parents have abandoned that responsibility of raising their kids. And I think that what they are planning to do with charging the parents for not supervising their kids or calling them to order, because what socialists want is to parent your kids. And that's what they've been encouraging for the last 50 years. What conservatives do is we raise our kids. Parents have to take responsibility for their kids, and I've been saying it on this live stream for a while. Parents have to raise their kids. Parents have to take the lead in educating their kid on history and even math and everything else. Yes, you send them to school, but you do need to take the lead. So if your child goes out there and acts the fool and breaks things and destroys property out there, the parents should pay a fine. And in some cases, if they commit violent crimes, I think they need to also be prosecuted and sent to jail for a bit. There has to be that consequence visiting them. They can't just say he's an individual, he makes his own choices. No, you had the opportunity to raise these kids and to keep them from being a burden to the rest of us. Okay, so guys, let me know what you think. I know the audio on this story was low, but let me know what you think in the chat. Now we're going to be covering the FBI's essentially stopping a plot to carry out a terror attack in the US. Those of you on the main channel are going to be ported over to the live stream channel. So just keep watching. I'm going to be doing that in a moment. Okay. Now just keep watching, and you're going to be moved over. Then we'll kick off the coverage on the terror plot that was thwarted by the FBI. All right. So while everyone is being moved over to the live stream channel, it's interesting because this next set of stories is going to touch on essentially what we've been talking about, not just about the fact that there's a terror attack that was being planned and maybe could have happened in a few days or weeks. We're also going to look at what's happening in Europe and what the United States should expect if certain things aren't done to stop ANTIFA, because we're going to talk about ANTIFA and see how peaceful ANTIFA is. All right, so here's the report about the story about the FBI's actions to stop a terror attack. An Iraqi national allegedly plotted to carry out terror attacks in the US, including at a Jewish institution in New York. Federal prosecutors said on Friday, that is today. So let's listen to this report.
A terror plot targeting Jewish institutions in New York, California, and Arizona has been foiled, and a man linked to the alleged scheme is under arrest tonight. Prosecutors Prosecutors say the Iraqi suspect is tied to other global attacks and claim he wanted payback for the U.S. and Israel war on Iran. CBS News national investigative correspondent Tom Hansen has the latest from New York, where the suspect is being held in time. Authorities tell us he was not acting alone.
That's absolutely right, Major. Good evening to you. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch entered Temple Emanuel behind me. She's addressing the Jewish community after today's stunning announcement.
Appearing in a federal court in Manhattan today, Mohammed al-Sadi smiled as a judge read off the list of terrorism charges. Arrested in Turkey in the last 24 hours and extradited to New York, al-Sadi is accused of trying to hire someone who happened to be an undercover officer to carry out attacks in Los Angeles, Scottsdale, Arizona, and New York City. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch said, "We disrupted a plan to attack a Manhattan synagogue and in partnership with the synagogue's leadership ensured its security when the threat was elevated." Prosecutors say on April 3rd, al-Sadi sent maps of a New York synagogue and Jewish centers in L.A. and Scottsdale to the undercover officer, agreeing to pay him $10,000. In the next day, al-Sadi is alleged to have sent $3,000 in crypto as a down payment for the New York attack.
All right, so clearly there's intent, and he did send money.
Texting, "I want to see good news tonight, not tomorrow, bro." Prosecutors say al-Sadi is a commander of Kataib Hezbollah, an Iran-backed terrorist group with ties to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. He's pictured here with the late Iranian general Qasem Soleimani, killed by a U.S. drone strike in 2020 on orders from President Trump. His defense attorney said al-Sadi is being punished for his ties to Soleimani.
This case is a political case, and it's a political prosecution.
So how do these people sleep at night? Okay, there's evidence that he communicated with someone, encouraged them to perpetrate an attack, and sent money to them. And this guy saying with a straight face that this is politically motivated. Okay, guys, now I'm going to do a callback to this guy who's talking about people going to hell. Okay, it's when I see people like this on TV talking about how someone who was caught red-handed about to murder hundreds of people, and he calls that person being apprehended a politically motivated. There is a heaven, and thank God there is a hell, because people like this, they may not meet their comeuppance in this life, but there is a hell. Okay, I believe it. I believe it. So when I see people just live their best life now while they are wrecking families and homes and lives by releasing thugs and criminals onto the streets. And we're going to talk about the incident that happened in Virginia. We're going to look at a follow-up to that. That is where the fact check is going to happen. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you the AI fact check that I did on some of the statements that the prosecutors made. So there is a heaven and there's a hell. And to be honest, if this guy does not repent and stop essentially protecting killers, we know where he's going.
And we're going to be litigating it as such.
Prosecutors also say after the war began, al-Sadi helped launch 18 terror attacks across Europe, including on a synagogue and a Jewish school in Belgium, and the stabbing of two Jewish men in London last month. CBS contributor Sam Vinograd said retaliatory acts of terrorism could become more common.
Even when drones, missiles, and more stop flying over Iranian airspace, it is more than likely that these military campaigns have inspired a generation of individuals to continue to try to wreak havoc.
And al-Sadi is facing multiple terrorism charges, including providing material support for acts of terrorism. If convicted, Major, he could face up to life in prison.
All right, so that's the story. Okay, so the FBI did this story came to my attention just before I came live, so I just wanted to share with you guys. I wanted to watch it together with you, and let me know what you think. We've been talking about the war in Iran for a bit, and everyone knew that it was only a matter of time before something like this showed up. All right, so this is just news that came up. I don't have too much to say about it. If you have thoughts, let me know in the chat. Now, this is another lawyer, a prosecutor who decided, we covered the story yesterday. This guy decided to release this individual, the black guy, okay, on the right side in the insert photo, decided to drop charges against him. This guy had been arrested 30 times, and 30 times he was let go. And then finally in February, he murders this white woman. And I'm saying white woman because that's the way these I'm trying not to call him names. That's the way these people, okay, the Democrats and leftists, see victims like her. Okay, and because she's white, she deserves to be murdered. Okay. Do you guys remember Irina Zarutska, the young woman who was murdered on the train by another violent black man who himself had been let go several times by the law, and eventually he murders her? Do you know that the leftists and Democrats in that city complained that her mural was offensive? The mural that was set up in her memory was offensive. And this past week, they took it down. That is the way these people operate. Evil, wicked, black-hearted people. Because a George Floyd, a career criminal, can commit all the crimes he committed, and then, yes, he died while in the process of being arrested by the police. Sad. But that doesn't wipe out the fact that he was a criminal. He was in the process of being arrested for committing a crime, and then he's suddenly a saint with murals all over the place, statues all over the place, and then a girl who was just minding her business and trying to get home or get to work gets murdered, and she is remembering her or reminding people about how she was murdered is offensive. All right, guys, I'm getting hot under the collar. Okay. Soros-backed Fairfax DA, we saw him getting eviscerated in Congress yesterday. So this is after he leaves that evisceration session. Soros-backed Fairfax DA Steve Descano gets torched in Congress for letting a violent illegal alien with 30 plus arrests murder an innocent American, Stephanie Minter. This soft on crime disgrace dropped charges on her killer multiple times, even after cops warned he was a ticking time bomb. These people were warned. I think it's about time that these people go to jail whenever anyone they let loose on the American people kills somebody. They have to go to jail. There has to be something baked in where, just like we saw with Jeanine Pirro announcing that if parents do not supervise their kids and they break things or someone gets hurt, the parents have to pay for it. I think there has to be a law where these people letting violent criminals go simply because they're trying to be inclusive, they have to face charges. And they've been doing it. And, you know, whenever we say Soros-backed lawyers, Soros-backed DAs, Soros-backed judges, it's true, because I will share the AI research that I did following this, because I was like, I need to dig deeper to actually be confident that everything that I just watched, okay, is the way I perceived it. Okay, so sorry guys, I'm just stirred up. Now, her grieving mom has to wait for a house hearing just to get a half-hearted sorry. They don't care. Now, watch this absolute disgrace.
Why didn't you apologize to Stephanie Minter's mother much sooner? Why did it take a congressional hearing to apologize to her? Okay, where we go? This one? Why haven't you apologized to Miss Minter sooner? Sir, it's been several months since that murder. Why have you not apologized to her sooner?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
What is the importance of having the community trust in your office to be able to help? Because even though you have a status or anything,
Well, we need witnesses to testify. Without witness testimony, we can't prosecute cases. We can't get bad guys off the street.
So he's trying to now. I'm stopping to highlight some of the excuses that he and his team gave. First excuse, he's blaming it on the fact that witnesses refused to testify. One excuse.
That's our job. So having that trust with the community, that's necessary for us.
So he's blaming the community, that the community refused to cooperate and no one stepped forward to testify against this illegal alien who had been committing violent crimes. Let's keep going.
All right, thanks, guys.
Sir, can you answer the question? When was the first time you have apologized to Miss Minter? Was it today? Jenna, do you have an apology for Miss Minter? Because you were the prosecutor on the Abdul Jallo case.
Thank you. We're waiting for an Uber.
You don't have an apology for Miss Minter?
Thank you. We're waiting for an Uber.
Any comment on why you dropped all those charges against Abdul Jallo?
We're waiting for an Uber. Statements many times about the evidentiary issues.
Yeah, this is the first time we've been able to ask her questions.
Well,
Jenna Sands, you were on the prosecutorial team. You were the one those emails were addressed to. Why didn't?
So this lady that over here is paid to run interference between this prosecutor and the press. So this journalist is asking straightforward questions. It's either a yes or no, very easy questions that she could answer. She refuses to answer because they know what they did. And essentially, because they know what they did, any answer they give is going to ruin her career in politics, because essentially DAs and public prosecutors who essentially become DAs is a political appointment, or not appointment, a political position you get voted in. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. So if she happens to say something that is damaging to her career, I mean, the fact that a mother lost her daughter, a child lost her mother, someone lost someone they loved, they don't care. It's all about the next appointment, the next election. That's all it is for them. And so this woman here is paid to run interference so that she doesn't have to incriminate herself.
You take it more seriously.
Okay. Do you want to start walking
Do
down?
you regret? Do you regret
Nick, we've given specific
dropping these
answers
charges against Abdul Jallo?
about the evidentiary issues in these specific cases.
You don't have any regrets?
We are bound by the evidence.
I'm not
and the
talking to
law.
you, Laura. I'm talking to Jenna. Jenna.
So Laura says we are bound by the evidence provided in these cases. She's trying to throw him off the scent.
Do you have regrets? Police wrote you 3 separate times that Abdul Jallo was dangerous.
And Nick,
Why didn't you heed those warnings?
Police concerns.
Nick, I'm pretty sure
about
Laura's
the
given you what you
potential
need.
I'm talking to you.
dangerousness of Mr.
I'm not talking to you,
Jallo.
Laura.
And
But we
unfortunately,
are
my
limited.
interactions with you have not led me
We
to
are
believe that we
limited
shouldn't
by
just
the
let her
law
go.
and the evidence.
And then she taps her assistant to say, do your job. That's what she did. And then look at that plastic smile on her face, because she can't be caught by a journalist's camera looking worried. So they have this plastic smile that shows, oh, I'm innocent, I'm good, everything is fine.
But
And
you were
so-
the one on the emails.
Okay, thank you.
We are often
my
in close
goodness.
touch with the police about prosecuting Mr. Jallo throughout the last few months.
Do you think Jenna Sands did her job not heeding those warnings?
Jenna is a fantastic prosecutor who, like all of our prosecutors, is committed to prosecuting violent, serious crimes.
Usual talking points, it's annoying, but listen, and then we'll jump into the fact check.
We are bound by the specific evidence in cases. We cannot, and if we do not have any evidence, we unfortunately cannot move forward with the case.
So she claims that the office of the prosecutor is bound by specific evidence. You see that wording, specific evidence. So what does specific evidence mean? They can't tell you because it is designed to protect them. But I'm going to show you what I found while I was doing the fact check in a bit.
We've explained that many times.
So they refused to comment. Now, I did the fact check, and I'm going to share it with you guys. For those of you who are watching after the fact, who are not going to be seeing the live chat, because I just shared the link in the live chat. You can find it in the description of this live stream. Now, here's what happened. Okay, I picked this post and I put it through Grok AI, and then essentially it summarized everything. And then I asked it the question. Where were the 30 prior arrests related to violent crimes? I wanted to kind of spread this thin because the prosecution is claiming that there was no specific evidence. The prosecution is claiming that they follow the evidence, and I simply asked, okay, guys, don't click the link and leave the live stream. Okay, it's just for you to reference later because I just noticed that a bunch of you just said to go go look at the link. All right, so based on the public records, the AI says yes, many. I'm going to zoom in. Says yes, many of the 30 plus prior arrests were for violent crimes, including several stabbings. This guy had been stabbing people already. The prosecution knew it, the police knew it, everyone knew it. Everyone connected to this case knew it. Malicious woundings, assaults, and a rape charge. Why was he still in the country? After the first crime, he should have been deported. All right. And the rape happened in 2018. This is insane. Those prosecutors are lying. Like I said, anyway, I'm not going to say what I was about to say. It's not very nice. Malicious woundings, 2023, for stabbing a 73-year-old man, and several others were dropped. Assault, including assaults on family members and strangers. In some of the assaults involved weapons. Now, you guys have the research. Okay, I sent it to you. I'm just going to jump through the steps. Now, I went forward further and then I asked, in this video, the prosecution claims they didn't have evidence to charge Jallow, so they dropped the case. Is this statement of a lack of evidence true? And here's what the answer came back as. It says, no, the claim of a straightforward lack of evidence is not fully accurate or complete. It appears to be the prosecutor's stated rationale, but reporting shows sufficient issues with how they handled the cases, including a lack of effort to build or pursue available evidence. In other words, they refused to do their job. The evidence was available. They refused to do their job. More details in the evidence. I've already sent you the links, okay? And then I asked another question. Is there any reason legally why Jallow should not have been incarcerated due to his history of violent crimes? So the response comes back, no, there is no fundamental legal reason that prevented Jallow from being incarcerated for longer periods based on his history of violent crimes. Like, this is what they call an open and shut case. But these Soros appointed DAs and prosecutors and judges are letting violent criminals stay on the streets. So more details on that point. And then I asked the final question, which is what everybody wants to know, because sometimes people say, you don't know that. You don't know that if this guy was incarcerated, that Stephanie Minter would not have been hurt by him still. You don't know that. Well, let's ask, based on the evidence we do have, okay, based on the records and what should have happened. Based on his criminal record, if he were incarcerated for the many crimes he had committed, would Jallow have been out of prison, and would he have encountered Stephanie Minter and killed her? And then the response is this: based on his documented criminal record and timeline, sustained incarceration for his prior violent crimes, particularly the repeated malicious woundings or stabbings, he would very likely have, those would very likely have kept him in prison or under tighter supervision through February 2026, preventing the encounter with and murder of Stephanie Minter. Now, you and I have arrived at this conclusion. The prosecutor and his team want us to believe that they did everything they could within their rights. They want us to believe that nothing could have been done, that they didn't have enough evidence, or that the community didn't cooperate with them. They want to blame everyone else but themselves. Stephanie Minter's blood is on their hands. Is on the hands of the guy, is on the hands of the other lady with her assistant. Stephanie Minter's blood is on the hands of the assistant. Guys, if I know that I'm working for a douchebag, I'm working for someone who willingly and knowingly let a killer on the streets, and they're trying to make me the face of, they're trying to make me run interference for them, I resign. Stephanie Minter's blood is on their hands. So you guys have the link to this fact check. I shared it. It's going to be in the it's actually in the description of this video. You just do some more interrogation and get back to me on what you find. But this is heartbreaking and it is infuriating. I am genuinely infuriated because these people are evil. They are evil. They are evil. It's not as far as I'm concerned. The evidence is there. These people knowingly knew this guy was dangerous. 30 plus violent crimes. They let him out on the streets, and now someone is dead, and they're claiming helplessness. They couldn't do anything because there was no evidence. Now, speaking of evidence, we have evidence that Antifa is dangerous. We have evidence that they had a hand in the murder of Charlie Kirk. We have evidence all over the United States, wherever it is they rear their ugly black hooded heads, that they are violent. We're going to look at a few videos right now that talk about it. And maybe I'm preaching to the choir, but I like us to look at these things because the media tries to gaslight us. They told us that Antifa doesn't exist. Then someone says that Antifa is anti-fascist. Their job is to go after fascists. Okay, the fascists are the bad people. They are the dangerous people. They are the ones who want to put black people in chains. Okay, so it's okay for a group of deranged, unhinged, violent psychopaths to get out on the streets claiming to do good but attack innocent people and maim them. So we're going to look at this story. So Chloe Cole is someone who was slated to speak at a TPUSA event at the University of Washington, but that event was canceled. She releases this video, and before we watch the video, here's her profile. Okay, she's a 21-year-old detransitioner. Already you know what she's going to talk about at the event. She's an advocate of people who are being forced into transitioning their bodies. She shares her story to expose the abuses of childhood gender transition, debunking radical ideology and igniting optimism. That is her ethos. So let's listen to the video she released after she decided that she couldn't put her life at risk. Let's have a listen. All right, my audio is off. I need to refresh. Sorry about that. This keeps happening. Oh, sorry, guys. Maybe I should do a super chat goal to buy a new PC and soundboard. But not yet. No, I'm just joking. All right, I'm just joking.
As many of you may know now, I was scheduled to speak tomorrow at an event at University of Washington hosted by Keep USA's local chapter there. I'm putting this video out because, as you may have heard, Antifa has assembled a local militia, in their own words, to shut down this event. Their actions, their explicit threats on my life, have raised this event to national attention. A level of attention our security team and the local PD are frankly unprepared for. Before Charlie Kirk's assassination, I think I would have been less careful. But the times have changed, and speaking on a university campus in 2026 can come with deadly consequences. We are postponing this event because of this reality. I am not afraid of Antifa. The reason I'm speaking out at all is because I've already walked and escaped my own personal hell. It's hard to shake me. And some ragtag group of wannabe revolutionaries on cross-sex hormones certainly won't shake me. But there's a difference between being brave and being stupid. This is not a win for Antifa, because truth will always win. Christ will always prevail. God created each and every single one of us in his image, and there are only two sexes. That is the exact message I was going to take to University of Washington tomorrow. I will be back, not just to UW, but to many campuses across the country. Because once conversations stop, that is when the violence begins.
So she's been threatened. Antifa, the warm and cuddly, fuzzy social justice group that CNN wants us to think they are, has essentially put a hit out on her, and they had to cancel the event. Now, I'm going to skip over to this because we're talking about Antifa, okay? They are behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk from everything that we've learned. But we don't have to just look at the Charlie Kirk situation. All we have to do is look at all of the riots. They want to call them protests. The riots and violent attacks on conservatives, not just in the United States, but all over the world. Now, this video creator, Wesley Winter, I don't know if you've ever come across his content. Wesley Winter is a journalist, is an online journalist, independent journalist who goes to these hotspots and records protests and incidents as they happen all over Europe. Now, he writes here, they wanted to kill me, but I'm still here. I was attacked in the Paris May Day protest by Antifa, the peaceful Antifa. I suffered multiple facial fractures and a concussion. These groups will label you far right, a Nazi, just for speaking to people on the right. And more importantly, if you question immigration. We're seeing the far left become more radicalized. Not long ago in Lyon, Quentin Darank was killed at the hands of the same people. Independent journalists are the ones exposing them for what they are. That's why we are targets. Now, I want to play this other video first because Quentin was a bodyguard to one of the independent journalists, and he was murdered by Antifa in the streets, and that was in France. Now, here are Islamists. Islamists confronts and mocks French nationalists over the death of Quentin. This is someone that they murdered, okay? And here they are celebrating his death, just like they celebrated when Charlie Kirk was murdered. They are all the same. They're all part of the same network of heartless thugs. Let's listen and watch this. It's all in French, so if the audio is down. Okay, I will. I'm sorry, guys. I'll just, stop and restart because you have to hear this bit. Because the question comes up again and again, what is the connection between Sharia law and Antifa? I hope this works.
Sharia law is here in France. Sharia law. Oh, here we go, here we go. Oh, lads are coming in. Lads are coming in.
All right, so that's Islamists celebrating the murder of Quentin, and Quentin was essentially a bodyguard to one of the independent journalists. So we're going to play this video, and I want you guys to let me know what you think as while we're watching this. I'm going to read the chat. I saw gardening. I saw the chats you sent earlier. We're going to go back and read all of them. If you're watching and you want to send your thoughts, okay. Now this is Wesley, and of course he's recording this video after he was attacked during the May 1st, the May Day peaceful protest. Okay, we were told it was peaceful protest. Remember, in the United States, schools were emptied out. Teachers took their students to these protests. They are indoctrinating kids to become as violent as Antifa is. Believe me, that's what's going on. And let's listen to this and let me know if the audio is good.
So last week, Friday, 1st May, I was attacked in Paris at a protest. I've ended up with a fractured orbital bone, nose, I can hardly open my left eye, and I can't remember much due to concussion. They also took my camera and my mic, so I'm filming this on my phone. I didn't really have to make this kind of video, but I feel like I have to just to set the story straight and just to avoid any future speculation. So I went to the Paris May Day protest last year. This year wasn't going to be any different, and having been to it before, I kind of knew what to expect. It's basically just a Workers' Day protest where a lot of left-leaning people come out. You do get some different groups that come along with it, such as Antifa, anarchists, and they all just march together as one. I don't remember much of what happened that day, but I'm going to piece it back together based on videos and pictures that have been sent by other people that were there. But from what I do remember is that I had lunch around 1 at a restaurant that was pretty much in the centre of where the protest was taking place. And at the beginning it was really calm. And I met with some of the UK guys that were over there, as well as a French journalist who I knew locally, who was also going to help me out on the day. The most I remember is I ordered like a cheeseburger, and that was pretty good. And then after that, we walked off to, well, me and the French guy walked off to go interview some people. And at that point, it's very similar to last year, calm atmosphere, almost like a festival. Then after that, my mind is gone completely blank. So I've gone off videos that have been sent. So you'll see in the videos, later on, it gets more tense. The police and the protesters are a lot closer. They're getting a bit more confrontational. But you can see from the videos, I'm just at the front, on the fringes, as I usually am, just kind of minding my own business, talking to the camera, probably did a couple of interviews as well. But in general, I'm pretty safe. There were obviously some heated moments with the police. I know there's one clip where one of the protesters literally passes out and gets taken out by the police. Overall, it didn't seem like the police in general were overly violent to the protesters. Even some of the worst clips I found, it doesn't look like the police would have done anything to hit protesters. Nor would I get myself in that position to have a fight with the police. It's not really my intention at all. I'm always there just to film, ask questions. I don't try to create the story. I let it happen around me and just document it. I don't try to manipulate it or cause any trouble in any way just for the video. That's never my intentions. It's just to show you guys what's happening on the grounds. So the most crucial part of the protest is where it ends. It's basically a roundabout called Place de la Nation, however you say it in French. But it's basically just this roundabout where the police will eventually kettle most of the protesters. A lot of them will just hang around. But you can see from the videos that I've gotten that I'm pretty safe. Similar to the previous videos where I know what I'm doing and I look completely fine. How are you feeling, Mr. Winters? Fucking crazy, guys. We're in the cyclone.
Oh, it's a whirlwind of like running around everywhere, isn't it?
The police do eventually come in and start to throw tear gas, is what I saw from other videos. And this is where I do begin to put my gas mask, and I have my goggles as well, which probably would have come in handy if I still had them on, if I got struck at all. But it must have calmed down later on that I felt the need to take them off. But as you can tell, I'm not going in there completely, without any care in the world. I do take.
All right, so if you're listening and you're struggling to hear his accent, just let me know in the chat. But what he's essentially saying is he was attacked during the May Day protest. He can't remember what happened because he got a concussion. Everything he's telling us in this video is based off of what he's pieced together from the videos that other people around him took. So he's basically piecing things together from everything else that he's seen, but he doesn't have first-hand memory of what happened to him. So I just need you to understand the context. And he's explaining the events that led up to the attack and so on. But we're not going to watch the entire video, but we'll stop at a certain point, because the point of the matter is this. These people said they're having a protest to kind of have a May Day protest. It's supposed to be a peaceful protest, but why is it that during a peaceful protest, they target independent journalists that they don't like, rob them and beat them into a concussion? And these are supposed to be the peaceful people.
Take precaution when needed, and you see it from this clip.
Yeah, police. Yeah, good. You can't talk at this fucking mask. I had it on. Pain.
Yeah, I just bring the microphone a bit closer to my mouth. It seems to be okay. Big up Wes has gone goggles. Mate, I've just had to put my glasses on, didn't I?
So as the police come in, they start to disperse people. It's important to note at this point, I get a text from the French friend who I was with at the beginning of the video. He texted me saying that Antifa had gone up to him and asked him personally, is that Wesley, the Asian guy? I'm not too sure what his response was, but at this point, my phone's in my bag, so I don't even see the text message or couldn't even open it. I'm too busy filming. But as the police are coming in and pushing people more to the centre of the roundabout, I believe this is where I get attacked, and this is the last time I film on camera. So they obviously got me whilst I was alone, and it seems like a calculated and planned attack.
And that's something that they keep doing. They attack people who are vulnerable, who are by themselves, who aren't looking. Like we watched the video, I think it was on Monday or Sunday, where someone sucker punched another conservative independent journalist. We saw it happening. That's their modus operandi. Now, why am I showing you this? Okay. We've been told by CNN that Antifa doesn't exist. Then they changed the story to say that Antifa is anti-fascist. And then they changed the story to say that actually Antifa is quite peaceful, that President Trump shouldn't be designating it a terrorist organization. Well, terrorists attack people to put fear in them so that they would change their politics or their policies towards them in favor of what they want. That's who a terrorist is. And Antifa has proven to be an international terrorist organization, because what they've done in Europe, they're trying to do in the United States. I'm going to show you a video where they started attacking another independent journalist in the United States. So let's listen a little bit more, because we need to get to a point of his story.
So straight after the attack, the first images I've gotten from journalists who sent me pictures of basically I'm covered in blood with bandages around my eye. I've obviously been struck or hit by something. So the medics have taken care of me. But then I go over to UK Exclusive as a live stream, and I've met some UK journalists who I recognise. At this point, I don't even know what I was saying. I was pretty delirious, but you can tell I was in some sort of state of shock at this point.
What the I'll keep it over here. What the fuck just happened? Don't tell me. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Is it bad? Oh, you look pretty bad.
Face. Is that swollen?
No. Your face is not swollen, but you are obviously covered in carrot.
I know. See, I know where my camera is as well.
Did you get whacked?
Yeah, I don't know.
What, I will?
No, I don't know. I think it's fucking neighbours.
What?
It's out of nowhere.
Where does this come from?
It's not.
Oh, hold on, mate. Thank you. Shit.
Is it bad?
I mean, you're covered in clay.
No,
No, your face is okay. I don't know what's under there, though. You need to sit down. Can you sit down?
Don't fear me.
Sit down, I'll keep it off you.
But don't fear me.
No.
Fuck me.
Fucking hell. I'm not going to put that on camera, people, but Wes has been whacked by something, but he doesn't know what. He's covered in his own blood.
So as you heard, he says I'm just covered in blood. I've even had my goggles and t-shirts still, and it just looks completely red. Obviously I won't show it, so it's pretty graphic. But just based off what happened, I've got messages on my phone where I've messaged the French guy who I was with saying I've been attacked, and I've sent him my location, and I've also taken pictures of where I was taken to, probably by the medics or some of the guys I was with, and it shows the geolocation of the picture, which shows I'm just outside of the roundabout. So the attack obviously happened within that roundabout area, where I was probably just picked off when I was alone. Again, I don't remember any of this. The next thing I do remember is just waking up in hospital the next day, just asking people where am I, what has happened. At this point, I've just got, my whole face is just completely destroyed.
All right, so I'm going to stop this here. He has a concussion. His cheekbone is dislodged. They're going to need a surgery to essentially pull out the bone from inside of his skull in order for his cheekbone to be, at least repositioned. That is Antifa, guys. Okay, that's the peaceful group. Now, today, I was thinking maybe we should do another video where we look at the protests, or look at people essentially trying to pretend like they know what they're protesting about and so on. But I saw this video and I felt like, okay, let's just do it. Let's take a look at this whole thing with Antifa. And I would, like when I see this happening in Europe, and then I see a video like this. So this is Katie Daviscourt. Last year, she was attacked at Portland. Someone hit her in the face with a flagpole. She's back there a few days back. And then here's what happens. She says, it's impossible for me to do my job down at the Portland ICE facility, even with security. I was violently mobbed out by Antifa, and a suspect in black bloc threw a rock at my face. Like, this is happening in the United States. Okay, what we watched earlier happened in France. This is happening in the United States. Same organization, same modus operandi. They isolate the journalists and then they attack them. So these are the guys who are supposed to be the peaceful guys. I have zero desire to discuss this further, but everyone is tired of it and wondering why a crackdown on Antifa, a terrorist organization, has not yet occurred, which is what I'm asking too. President Trump has designated them to a terrorist organization, but somewhere along the line, I think that blue cities and blue states are protecting them. So let's watch this. So this happened just a few days ago. Is the audio good?
All right, so I'm pretty sure I'm in danger. And I am going to...
And so she's backing up. And I think someone throws a rock at her.
Oh,
right there.
They just threw a rock in my face.
And then she starts running.
Okay, so that one just threw a rock in my face. Stop! Okay, I'm in serious danger. All right, please share this. I'm in danger! Help! Help!
Okay, now watch this. There are 3 police officers. She's screaming that she's in danger. Two hear it and they start riding off. Just watch this. It's crazy.
I'm a journalist. I'm in danger. I'm in danger.
There they go.
I'm in danger.
The police literally just rode off. This is in Portland, Oregon, by the way. Okay. Like I said, blue cities and states have been protecting Antifa. They don't arrest them. And even when they make a big show of arresting them, they let them walk out the back door.
I just got assaulted really bad. I'm a journalist. I'm reporting undercover. Antifa just threw a rock in my face.
Did it hit you?
Yes, I have it on camera.
They threw a rock at my face and he's asking the dumb question, did it hit you?
You have it on camera?
And they just threw it out, or gosh.
Oh yeah. Oh, did it hit you? Oh, you got it on camera? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't breathe.
You want to take your hood off or not while they're here?
Hold on.
What happened? And Delta 3 and Kerwin are going to be taking a assault.
So and what's this nonsense with Portland PD riding around on bicycles? Can someone explain that to me? because I kept seeing this last year and I was like, what on earth is going on?
Oh, I can't get this off.
And you can hear the squeak of those bikes like they haven't been oiled in a long time.
Hold on, don't pull your hair. Let me.
I don't.
Can I help you?
Let's unzip. Hold on.
Can you unzip this? Okay. Okay. Sorry, my name's Katie. I'm a journalist. They just assaulted me. They threw a rock in my face, hit my nose.
So they're screaming straight.
And yeah, they were screaming.
You have it on video?
Yeah.
Can you try to pull it up so I can see it?
Yeah, it's on this live stream.
Okay. Why don't we,
Now, this is the point where the police arrests these zombies, okay, because they're rushing her like they're zombies about to eat her brain. They just look over and they're like, oh, it's them again. And they did. I don't know, like, guys.
Yeah, why don't you try to, if you can pull it up so we can.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this.
You can reboot it after you show up.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm good, guys.
All right, the peaceful Antifa protests. So last year they threatened to cause the helicopters that were essentially patrolling or providing air support to the ICE facility in Portland. And Antifa decided that they were going to pick a certain day to cause these helicopters to crash. And what the plan was that they were going to use lasers to blind the pilots, forcing them to crash. Now, when they said that last year, I freaked out and said, what on earth is going on in the United States where people can say this publicly and nothing happens? Well, it turns out that something did happen because an Oregon man has been convicted of shining high-powered lasers at CBP helicopters in an anti-immigration enforcement attack. All right, Brian K. Capilio Nepayal, 38, of Aloha, faces up to 45 years in federal prison and a $5,250,000 fine. Beautiful. Beautiful. Like, I want to see more of this. I want to see more of that. And this is the first guy. The second guy, okay, just the FBI raided a home near the Portland ICE facility as part of an investigation involving an individual shining a high-powered laser at a military helicopter performing lawful duties. This turns out that the suspect was an illegal alien who is now in ICE custody. When you're soft on crime, like we just watched with the Fairfax County prosecutor, blaming the community for why they let the guy go who eventually killed Stephanie Minter. They're soft on crime. And when someone gets murdered because of their insane policies, they try to blame it on the community or on someone else and not on themselves. So let's watch this video. I guess that was the day the helicopter was being attacked or something. So that's the chopper. That's the ICE facility. Yeah. So look, I want to see more of them going to jail. So okay, so I'll tell you one of my fantasies. I'll tell you one of my fantasies while I was in Nigeria, years ago. Not years ago, no, it's not too long. Maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago. In third world countries, people who are corrupt and who commit crimes don't get punished. In fact, many of them get wealthy. And because their crimes don't get punished, they commit more crimes. You have people in the government who steal public funds. Hospitals are underfunded and the staff are either not well trained or they are not well paid or both. You have the police not funded, so crime is out of control. And many other things that just break simply because of the rampant corruption. And I said to someone years ago, I said, the one way to stop this insanity is to put all of these people who have become billionaires of stealing the taxpayers' money or money from the public funds, put them in prison and turn those prisons into museums. Here's what you do. Put all of them behind bars and then have regular school excursions where kids in high school and middle school are taken on one excursion annually. Every school has to do it. And they walk by these cells. Oh, that guy, he used to be the president of the country. Yeah, but he's in jail now for life for stealing billions of dollars from the country. Oh, that guy, he was the minister of health. And under his tenure, he stole $150 billion that were meant to buy MRIs and CT scans and pay doctors. Oh yeah, he's in jail for the rest of his life. Oh, this other guy, he was meant to build roads. He was the Minister of Works and Housing. But instead of building roads, he let the roads break down to the point where you could hardly travel, and people who drove on those roads had accidents. In fact, there were hundreds and hundreds of car crashes and many fatalities. And he enriched himself and his family and his relatives and built many houses with money stolen from public funds. Oh, but because of the thing he did and the deaths that happened, he's a mass murderer and he's in jail for the rest of his life. You take kids through that excursion where they see presidents and ministers and different people who literally robbed the country blind, committed crimes, and at the end of the day, they're like, don't do crime. And the next year they do it again. Do you know what? That would cure a lot of people who are planning to go into government or business and steal from people. I think the United States should think about doing something like that. Get all these crazy, insane people, put them in prisons and turn those prisons into museums. Because, hey, this person is here for 40 years. While he's here for 40 years, he's going to help us educate the future generation. While this person is here for 10 years, he's going to help us educate the future generation, and he has no choice in the matter. In fact, if he doesn't cooperate with showing his face while the kids are passing by, he gets more years added on to his life. Yes, someone says that's not constitutional. I don't care, because what these people do, it sets a precedence, and then it lets everyone else know that, okay, if you commit crimes, if you let violent criminals out without and when they go out, they kill American citizens, you're going to jail. I think that's a good thing. Okay, what do you think? That's my fantasy. Okay, that's a fantasy. I just think about it. I'm like, hey, that would be a good thing, because the world has gone crazy. Okay, the world has gone crazy, and when I think about the concept of justice, justice is protecting the innocents, but the Democrats and leftists are all about protecting the criminals. And I think anyone whose manifesto essentially is to protect the criminals, they are criminals, and they should be treated as such. And anyone who disagrees should, I mean, I don't know how you would disagree with that statement. Okay. All right. So I'm going to read the rest of I'm going to read the chat in a bit, but let me just play this final video because I've told you my fantasy, but the US government under President Trump is doing something else, and I think their idea might be better than mine. Trump's counterterrorism director, Seb Gorka, unveils the United States' newest counterterrorism strategy since 9/11, which includes elevating threats from leftist groups like Antifa, which is beautiful. But that was already done last year. President Trump had said that he was designating them a terrorist group last year. So why are we still getting the same talking points this year without action? I don't know, but let's listen. He says, we're going to identify and neutralize the left-wing radicals like Antifa, like the anarchists who took the life of my good friend Charlie Kirk, that have tried on multiple occasions to kill President Trump. Let's have a listen. Let me know if the audio is good, please.
Thank you kindly. Yeah, my incredible team have been working on this since the second inauguration of President Trump. We waited until the president signed and released the national security strategy in December. This nests under that and the national defense strategy. In one sentence, we are returning to common sense, reality-based counterterrorism. One of the first things the president says in his trenchant foreword, and then we stress later on page 1, is that we will not permit the most powerful national security tools in the world, especially underneath the counterterrorism rubric, to be used for political purposes against innocent Americans. We're not going to allow, as the Biden administration did, Catholics in Richmond to be targeted because they go to Latin Mass, members of Congress like Tulsi Gabbard to be put on no-fly lists, or to use armed federal law enforcement to raid the home of a former president, as happened at Mar-a-Lago, because President Trump was going to win that election. We're not going to let that happen. So we're going to rip politics out of counterterrorism, and then we're going to focus on the real threats in 3 main threat groups. Number 1, the cartels, under the incredible leadership of the Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller, the new S1, the new Secretary at Homeland Security, Senator Mullen. And then, of course, the second category is my remit, the global jihadi movement. So dealing the ultimate death blows to groups like Al-Qaeda or ISIS. And then the third category, sadly, because the left has normalized violence or made it a permissible thing to do, we're going to identify and neutralize the left-wing radicals like Antifa, like the anarchists who took the life of my good friend Charlie Kirk, that have tried on multiple occasions to kill President Trump. We will not permit you to use violence against your fellow Americans for political purposes.
All right, so that's the director of the counterterrorism team, and I think it's nice. It's a nice sentiment, but until we start seeing people go to jail for this, I don't think. Do you know what? I don't think I'll take them seriously until we start seeing them put in jail. Making the jails a museum is a plus. Okay, maybe then I'll take them more seriously and say, okay, yeah, so you guys are finally doing what you should have done. But someone will say that that's cruel and unusual punishment for the criminals. I don't think so. I think the world heals when people see that you're willing to punish crime. So I believe in corporal punishment, But in the lifetime of all of my elders, I think I may have spanked him maybe 5 times, 6 times in his entire life. He's turning 16 soon. And being spanked 6 times in his entire life is enough to have told him something about me. I told him, look, if you do this, I will spank you. And there was one time he was really naughty, and I gave him a spanking, and his sister was, I think, about a year old or so, or 2 years old, and she saw the spanking happening. So she got the memo that if she was naughty, she would get spanked as well. I have never had to spank my daughter ever since. Not my third kid. My third kid, he marches by the beat of his own drums. So I probably have spanked him 6 times already in his very short life, because he's a very different character. But I'm saying that to say, look, when you show everyone who's around that you're willing to punish crime, everyone else lines up. My second kid watched as the first was disciplined for any misbehavior. She got the memo. I haven't had to spank her. The youngest came long after I had stopped the spanking, and he thought that, well, anything goes. So he's had to relive the horrors of being spanked by me. So that's the way, that's essentially the way things work. Okay, so the federal government does have to do some spanking. People have to go to jail. We have to see perp works. We have to see people in prison. We have to see them go through trials. We have to start seeing leftist activist judges removed, because what they're doing is not the law. They're simply being activists. Okay. All right. So let's read the chat. All right. I just held off to read the chat much later. Most of it here is about the audio. Sorry about that. All right. So Gardening says, wouldn't be surprised if they put one up for him instead. Referring to the illegal alien who murdered Stephanie Minter. The Democrat Party is the party of criminals, illegal aliens, and sexual deviants. That is who they are. And I'm not saying it to be insulting. I'm saying it because they've told us who they are by the things that they've done, by the policies that they push, by the things they say about victims of violent crime at the hands of illegal aliens and the illegal aliens who have committed those crimes. They've told us who they are. But it's sad, but it is what it is. Gardening also says, someone did a mural of her in our small town, and even that was destroyed. Can you imagine that? Like, how black can your heart be that you would watch the video of her being murdered? And I'll tell you what, okay, I want to bet that those people who removed or destroyed the mural for Irina Zerotska in your small town haven't watched that video of her being murdered in the train or on the train. I want to bet that they haven't, because watching it would humanize her. Watching it would humanize her and force them into the reality of their insane position. So they're told, don't watch it. They've been told not to watch it, that it's MAGA propaganda, that it's hateful to show a helpless, unarmed woman on a train going home or to work, and a black man stood over her, stabs her in the neck, and then walks off and says, I just stabbed that white bee. So for anyone to destroy her mural and to worship at the statue of George Floyd, they're evil people. I don't care what anyone thinks about what I just said. They are evil people. Evil. Yeah. because it just doesn't make sense. It's not, and they make excuses for their evil because they think that basing their judgment on privilege and skin color and all those things that they teach them in woke schools and professors who are essentially communists trying to twist their brains into destroying Western civilization, them taking that position makes them evil. Oh no, they're miseducated. They don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, they're adults. As an adult, you've gotten to the point where you can think for yourself. Most of them don't wear diapers. Okay, they don't wear diapers. They're adults. They should know better, and they've chosen to think in a certain way. That simply means that they've made their decisions, and in their heads, it is completely justified that a black man would stab an unarmed immigrant white woman in the neck, and it is completely justified. Over the last few days, there's been protests, and I think it has devolved into riots in the Netherlands, and that is because the leadership of a certain city in Netherlands has decided to bring in over 300 military-aged illegal aliens into the city. You know, while the Democrats scream or the leftists scream and mewl about democracy, it's funny when the people say, we don't want this. And instead of them to agree with the people who say we don't want this, they send out the police and the army to quell the unrest. So they sent out the police to essentially break up the protest, and it turns violent. And I think the last update that I got was that they burnt down the facility where the illegal aliens were supposed to be housed. There's an uprising happening in Europe, and they're pushing back, and you don't hear about it because mainstream media isn't covering it. And my concern is that when people feel like they are not being heard, and on top of it, their loved ones are being harmed by terrible policies from the left, people who feel like they are not being heard are going to begin to lash out. I think I said it during one of the other live streams I did this week. People are going to lash out. And when they lash out, left-wing media is going to run out and say, oh, see, these are the fascists that we told you were always out there. Oh, see, these are the evil people who break things. That was what they did with January 6th. A clearly stolen election, because it was clearly stolen. I showed you the video the other night with the steep climb where there was a ballot dump in the dead of night. And people stood up to say, we feel like you guys stole this election from us. We voted for someone, you're forcing someone else on us. And they were told that they were election deniers. And then when they protested, a riot was staged. And then we haven't heard the last of it. Okay. A goat walks into Congress and shits on the carpet January 6th. If something goes wrong and a leftist murders someone and we're asking for justice, they would always go back to, but January 6th. That was something that they would hold on to for the rest of eternity. Why? Because that is the one thing that they want to say, oh, we're the same, you guys are violent too. But it's not true. You know it and I know it. So it's insane that we get to sit and watch all of this play out. It's insane that no matter how much we point out, you know, I pull these videos because it's just evidence. It's just like, you and I are not crazy. Gardening, someone destroyed the mural that was meant to honor the memory of a woman who was just here for a better life and wanted to work and be an American, and a black person who had been known to be violent and had been let out repeatedly murders her. And instead of treating her memory with grace and compassion and their favorite word, empathy, even though I don't believe in that word, sympathy is good. Sympathy with the family to say, hey, we feel sad for you that you lost your daughter. Instead of doing that, they destroy her mural, but they take care of George Floyd's mural. It tells you who they are. It tells you who they are. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out this Friday night. I hope you enjoyed the show. It kind of felt like, oh, it's going somewhere dark, but I hope you guys understand what we're trying to look at. And sometimes I wonder if the show is heading in the right direction with some of the stories that we select. But we try to show you everything. My feed is varied and it can be convoluted because I'm looking at policy, but I'm also looking at the street level consequences of both good and bad policies. Good policy is that Attorney Jeanine Pirro is going to be punishing parents whose children have not been properly trained because they head out into the wild and they hurt people. Oh, the parents have to pay the price. The other ground level policy or thing that we're looking at is how ANTIFA is at ground level operating as a terror organization, but in Europe, no consequences. And now they are ramping up their actions. They've murdered someone. They attempted to murder Wesley. I've forgotten his last name now, but they attempted to murder him. He's telling his story. We watched it. And they're brazen about it. And then we skip over the pond to the United States and we see these guys chasing Katie Davenport. The police is right there and they're still rushing her. We saw what happened with Charlie Kirk. People are going to say, oh, when are you guys going to put this Charlie Kirk talk to bed? Never. Because that was when you guys showed us who you really are. Never. Okay? Never. Gardening says it was a darker show, but it's something we need to see and know about. Definitely hard seeing how evil and dangerous some people are. It is hard. And the sad thing is this. Okay, now I won't say it's a sad thing. One of the things that I would like us to learn how to do is to look in the face of evil and wickedness and make up our minds that we're going to stand for justice and righteousness and not hate. Okay, I see these people and I'm like, God, I'm tempted to hate these people, but we can't hate them. We can only treat them with the rule of law. And in order to have the rule of law, we have to vote in the right people. We have to hold the people we vote in, we have to hold their feet to the fire. They have to implement policies that protect everyone. They have to throw people in jail who break the law, no matter who. So it's a different kind of reaction from us because we operate under the rule of law. We fight at the ballot box with our votes, not with our face, but with our votes. And we have to be politically activated. Every single person of a with a conservative mindset has to be politically activated. Okay, the left is politically activated. Now they're trying to politically activate our children by dragging them out to protests. They're already activating them politically in the classrooms. We're at work, we're trying to do other things. Meanwhile, they're trying to teach our kids in the classrooms about politics. So what I do is I teach my kids politics at home. I teach them politics while we do our Bible readings, daily Bible readings. We're currently reading the book of Esther. And the political situation with Esther is wild. You have someone who just hates the Jews and he wants all of them murdered. He climbs to the top of the political pyramid, and he is the second in command to King Xerxes, the king of Persia. And he decides he's going to use the influence he's been given to wipe out all of the Jews in the Persian Empire. And he starts his plot. It's a tale of intrigue, deep bitterness and jealousy, and a feud that has spanned hundreds of years. And I'm telling my kids this story, and I'm teaching them about how politics in that scale and to their understanding, how it works, and how that book could have turned out differently if different decisions were made by Esther. Tonight, I told them if Esther had made a different decision on how to handle the crisis that was bearing down on her and her people, the story could have ended differently. And it's the same for us. If we decide to become like Antifa, if we decide to begin to wear black bloc and attack them in the streets and fight back because we're angry and bitter, things will turn out very differently. It's not going to work out well. We have to fight at the ballot box with our votes. And I would also ask, also fight on your knees. Pray for the United States. Pray for President Trump. Pray for his cabinet. And Jesus advises us to pray for our enemies, those who hate us, those who despitefully use us. We fight differently, not because it's easy, but it's because that's the way we win, by fighting on our knees and with our votes. So I hope that makes sense. It's hard because it's like we're being told to fight a battle with both hands tied behind our backs. Because I'll tell you the truth, while watching these videos, especially the one with Katie being swarmed and attacked, I was enraged. And I was very tempted to allow myself think a certain way. If I say it out loud, it's one of those things that YouTube could flag. I really, 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 really wanted someone on the other side to get hurt because she's a woman, unarmed, alone, and they were about to attack her. So it's easy to slip into that way of thinking, very easy. But for us, we can't let ourselves go there. So I just needed to say this because when you watch these dark realities, because these are realities. I've just played one video of someone who got really hurt. He needs surgery to recover his cheekbone. We just watched a woman attacked. Last year she was attacked in Portland. This year they were about to swarm her and attack her. We watched a video of a prosecutor and his team, who essentially allowed a violent criminal walk time and time again, over 30 times, and finally he murders someone, and they want to act like they didn't know it was going to happen, even after the police warned them. We watch Jen Psaki and mainstream media tell lies again and again. We've seen 3 assassination attempts against Donald Trump, and they're still lying today. All of those things infuriate me. They do, genuinely. I look at it and I get really upset. But what do? I pray. I'm telling you, that's what I do. I pray. I take a deep breath. I look at the monster in the eye, and then I decide I'm going to pray. It's hard, guys. It's hard. But it tells you something. Just like the story of Esther. Esther didn't depend on her position as the queen, didn't depend on weapons and strategy. She fasted for 3 days. She, her, the people who worked for her, and her uncle Mordecai. And in 3 days, she got the wisdom of God to know what to do. And she did exactly what she felt she should do. And that was what won her the victory. So for us, as we pray, let's ask the Lord to help us understand what we ought to do and go out there and do it. Pray for your president. Pray for the United States. Pray for his cabinet. Pray for your judges. Pray for the governors. Pray for the mayors. Pray for the police chiefs, that they will have courage to stand firmly against any woke ideology that tries to tell them to be soft on crime. And pray for your community so that they will be courageous to stand against this insanity. It is demonic. It is insane. And you have to just pray. And I'd like to ask those of you here to just do something, okay? If you live in the United States and you're watching, or whatever country you live in, okay, take a few minutes every day to walk around your neighborhood and just pray one prayer. Ask God to bless your neighborhood. Just walk around your neighborhood, even if it's just a 5-minute walk. Walk around your neighborhood for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and ask God to bless your neighborhood. If you have the energy, do more to bless your neighborhood, to bless the police officers who patrol your neighborhood, to bless the police chief, to bless the mayor. Okay, to bless the mayor. You may not like your mayor, but pray for them, and God will figure out a way to reach them and to use them, even when they don't want to be used by God. Because we're not fighting flesh and blood, guys. We are fighting dark, evil spirits. We're fighting evil spirits that have been around for thousands of years, and they're just showing up today. It's just that most of them carry computers and laptops and wear suits. They all go to college and they believe that they're educated, but they are being influenced by these dark spirits to say and do these things. How can you, with a straight face, say the things that you hear these people say and not have any conviction that you're wrong and something is very wrong? It is because they are being influenced by evil spirits, lying evil spirits. All right, this last end of it is just a rant that is, well, it's not a rant, but it's essentially me trying to unpack the evil that we've just watched today with the lawyers, with Antifa. And yeah, we can say it's dark, but why is it dark? It's because we've entered into a realm that is separate from common sense. It is not about rational thought. You've entered into the realm of the spirit without knowing it. And that's where you meet absolute evil and absolute good. The only way to defeat absolute evil that would watch a man be murdered and celebrate in the streets and online is to fight it with absolute good by aligning yourself with Jesus and with God. Right. I hope that helps. I hope that helps because it helps me. It does. I will be helping you out with more thoughts like this in the future. Just like they help me, I'm going to be sending them out to you. All right, guys, I have to pull the plug here, else I'll be talking about this for a long time because I've been thinking about this for years. Why is it that there's so much evil being perpetrated on the mainstream media? So much evil and lies. It is because right now they are more than ever today open to dark spirits. They're more than ever today open to dark spirits. There is such a deep influence of witchcraft right now in the air. And those of us who have sensed it are trying to call it out. It's hard. Thank you, Gardening, for the kind words. Thank you for the show and your words at the end. Most of us who recognize this darkness struggle to say it out loud, especially when we're talking about news and politics and entertainment, and we're trying to speak to people who just want to watch something on YouTube and they don't understand why the world has gone insane. I'll tell you a story from the Bible. Jesus and his disciples crossed the river, or crossed the Sea of Galilee. And they go to the other side, and then they hear screams. There's a man who's been possessed by, according to, if the demons' story is to be believed, over 2,000 devils are in this one man. How they fit in, don't ask me, but that's what he says. And he falls at Jesus' feet, and then Jesus casts out the devils. The devils enter a herd of pigs nearby, and the herd of pigs lose their minds to the point where they all commit, okay, I don't use that word because it's a YouTube flagged word. They run off a cliff and drown themselves. Even pigs know enough not to live with a devil inside of them. We're seeing people who are living with devils, who are willing to embrace ideologies that are destructive. That's what we're dealing with, guys. And you can't fight them with intelligent arguments. You can't. All right. By the grace of God, I will make sense of this for you in the days to come. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Gardening, for being an amazing moderator. Everyone else who joined and watched and dropped a comment, thank you so much. Even the guy who came in and posted something that is weird. Thank you for posting something, even though it was weird. And everyone else that's watching, thank you. And I hope you come back for the next live stream. We're taking our Sabbath day off. Saturday nights are our Sabbath. We'll be back on Sunday night. And I hope to catch you then on the next one. We'll see what stories are developing. If you have any thoughts that you would like to share, post them to the email address down below. And if you want me to pray about a situation you're going through, I'm opening this up. Tell me what the problem is. I'll pray for you about it. And I want to say thank you to all of you who've been praying for my family. I mentioned to you guys that we were in a transition and I needed your prayers. We were in a very difficult spot. We've been in a very difficult spot for the last year plus. But I asked you guys to pray and keep us in your prayers, and things are turning. I told you that something started happening earlier this week, And today we got some more amazing news. Guys, prayer works. And if you want me to pray for you about anything, just send me an email to the email address on the screen. I believe in a God who answers prayer. And I'm not saying that I'm praying so that I make you feel good. I'm going to pray so that God answers your prayer and meets your need. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye. And God bless you.